अजीम शख्सियत मेरे उस्ताद प्रोफेसर नसीर साहब हैं। इनको मैं यहाँ पे दावत दे रहा हूँ कि वो अपने तासुरात से हमें नवाजें।
बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम नहमदुहु व नसल्ली अला रसूलिल करीम। Professor Ismail Ashna Saab, honorable guests, chief guests, dear friends, my dear students, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. First of all, I would like your attention and silence for a while. It was really pleasure for me. I would call it a state of bliss for me to have been with you in Coffee and Kalaam. I would like to extend my thanks to Coffee and Kalaam. I was not introduced to them earlier. It's my first introduction with them. And having got acquainted with it, I remember still in my mind, there was all the time echoing the great verse of Allama Iqbal. Nahi na umeed Iqbal apne kashti veena se, zara nam ho to ye mitti bahut zarkhiz hisab se. I would like to talk a bit because time is running out. It's getting late. You have been here from early in the morning. It's a bit chilly also. And we have some eminent personalities with us. Some elderly persons like Parwana Saab. I came to have the acquaintance with him. This is my first acquaintance with him also. It's a great day for me because I have discovered that in our land there are certain great people living. And among those great people, I can find that a young generation is mushrooming. That young generation is the future. That future needs to be nourished. That future needs to be chiseled. That future needs to be brought up and given the platform. Poetry is not like we summoned here. You recited poetry. You applauded your hands. You say nicely done. It was a wonderful poem. Somebody is a young poet. Somebody is an elderly poet. You recited beautiful poetry. It should not stop here. It should reach beyond this hall. You know what poetry is all about? John Keats was asked what's poetry. He said, it is the suffering that we sing in our songs. It's your suffering. It's my suffering. It's the suffering of all of those who are yet to speak. We live in a phase where our story is yet to be told. We have untold miseries. We have untold sufferings. We have untold narratives. And poetry is the medium wherein you can bring out those narratives which have been suppressed, narratives which have been oppressed, narratives you are not able to bring before the world. Probably Professor Ismail Ashna, whom I owe a lot, who has been my mentor also throughout the process of my making. I still remember when I came to Space Age for some time and worked here as a teacher. I had been the victim of the politics of university, lobbyism and nepotism. That's one of the beloved features of Kashmir University, used to be during those days. I don't know whether there has been any change or not. Since I being from Bandipora, and I being a person who was acquainted and accustomed by a proper system of education that taught me to speak truth and to speak and to be a very brave and courageous person. When I saw certain issues in the university, I raised a voice against those issues and I was penalized. And remember who penalized me? It's my teachers who penalized me. Can you imagine a teacher can penalize and punish a student to the extent of destroying his career? Can you imagine it? Because a teacher is supposed to show the way. When we reach to some educational institution, we minazul mat ila nur, light upon light. When you take a person from darkness to enlightenment, it needs a teacher. The teacher has to play that role. When I raised certain objections to the various issues which are happening in the university, they punished me. I came to this institution. I remember it was probably in 2007. And when I met Professor Ismail Ashna Saab, he hugged me and said, "Oh, here is a copy of a person who resembles me. I think we have got some sort of, genetic relationship. Is there any genetic relationship with me? Who are you?" And I told him that I am the son of Falani and my mother. It started, a lineage started. He started developing a relationship. He said, well, your mother is from Nadial. And her mother, my grandmother, is from Watpura. Oh, I see, you're from our family. You belong to our family. This was a real pep talk, real word of encouragement. And then he said, you can go a long way. See, there's this way when you see through some tunnel, you find that there's darkness enveloped every now and then. My friend was enveloped in the darkness some time back. He's my student also. I told him, no. Just don't be there. Come out of it. In the history, we are in the phase of darkness. As Muslims, we are in the phase of darkness. As the people of Kashmir, we are in the phase of darkness. Who will take us to this enlightenment? It's your duty. When you become poets, enough. Love is good. Love is God. They say love is God. Love will rule the world. And you will have to use the pedagogy of love to teach the people. Methodology of love to teach the people. This pedagogy of love is so influential, so powerful, that this will really rule. Now, in your own place, when you write about your beloved and all those which were the beloved themes of much of the poets, younger poets, you should switch to the second part of your duty as a poet. That is, you should be a committed writer. As a writer, you have got a commitment. You have to be accountable to what is happening around you. That narrative may be suppressed for some time, but that will come out. I was very happy to meet you here and listen to you, Fauzia. She said, I am writing resistance poetry. People are writing resistance literature also. We have resistance novels also. This term is so scary a term now, with so much of the things at stake, that we cannot openly debate these things. Thanks to the Big Brother, Orwellian Big Brother. If you have not read this novel, go and read 1984, a novel by George Orwell. A character he creates calls Big Brother and says, Big Brother is watching. Whatever you will be doing, Big Brother is watching. You'll be caught for your words. Don't be fear of that Big Brother. If you're writers, let me tell you the first and important thing that a writer must have. He must have courage. He must have courage to stand and speak and deliver. He must have the courage to sit down also and listen to the people also. Because when it needs courage to speak up, it needs courage to sit down also. Courage is the first thing. Second is exploring the truth. You should write always. Your pen should write for the truth. I don't like one method with poets. Poets should always keep a balance between tradition and modernity. You are poets and most of you recited poems from smartphone. I don't like it. I want that you will holding a pen and a paper in your hands. Keep your relationship with pen and paper. Because pen and paper will give you the imagination. That imagination, it will build a relationship and familiarity with the word, with the printing word. Shakespeare is known to us, people are known to us, great poets are known to us through that printed word which they wrote. Understand? So please don't give it up. Third and most important thing, this unheard songs is like unheard melody. And probably Shelley says, heard melodies are sweet, but unheard are sweeter. We are expecting that these unheard songs would be sweeter, and they'll be representative and represent the dilemma that we are in. They will make a true representation to the world. I would like that there should have been one of the certain copies of that book, but Professor says that it's out of print now. I hope you will get some of the printing. And as writers, you review that book. You write your reviews to the newspapers also. एक जिम्मेदारी है हमें एक दूसरे को बैकअप करने की, एक दूसरे को पहचानने की और एक दूसरे के साथ कंधा मिलाने की। इन अल्फाज के साथ मैं आपका ज़्यादा टाइम नहीं लेना चाहता हूँ। I would have liked to bring some of my poetry also here. I am writing in English. लेकिन मुझे I didn't knew that कि इस तरीके का प्लेटफॉर्म मुझे मिलेगा जहाँ मुझे मौका मिलेगा। Anyway, यहाँ बहुत अच्छे शायरों ने कलाम पढ़े और listening to them was real pleasure. And now we would be waiting for two important lectures, or what I would say, two important conversations. One by the president who's holding the presidium, one of the famous poets of the Kashmir, and इसके साथ साथ it's always pleasure to be with the Professor Ismail Ashna Saab. So once again I thank you, and I see bright future in your eyes. Please be brave enough and don't let this pen go down.